back, baby, and today I'm going to be teaching you about moonlit landscape photography, okay? And what that means basically is that you're doing landscape photography but with the moon as your light source. Well, it's the sun, but it's reflected off the moon, okay? And what this does is it makes a picture that looks like it's lit by the sun, which it kind of is because of the reflection, but the sky has stars in it. So the sky, because the moon is lighting the earth and it's lighting the landscape, the moon is providing the light that your picture is going to get from the earth, but it's not affecting the sky. The sky is being affected by the stars that are billions of miles away. And so it takes a long time to get the stars to be in focus, and it takes about that same amount of time for the earth to get, not in focus, to get exposed correctly. So to get pictures of the stars in the sky, you can't just take your camera and point at the sky and take a picture. You won't get any stars. What you have to do is you have to do a longer exposure so that the stars can be absorbed into the camera and get exposed to the picture. Well, the moonlight is not as intense as the sunlight. So what you have to do is use a long exposure to get the moonlit picture to look as though it's sunlit, to basically expose it as though it were lit in the daytime. So what ends up happening is you get these very surreal pictures. It's something that I guess you can see it if you go out into the landscapes. If you're one who goes into the landscapes and into the desert or into the woods or into any natural place without light pollution, it's extremely dark unless there's a full moon or any moon, but the full moon is when the moon's at its peak brightness. So when the moon is peaking at its peak brightness, you can go out and take a picture and set your camera on a tripod and use a long exposure. For these pictures I did 30-second exposures. But anyhow, when you do the picture, it can look as though it was taken in the day. You just expose it for longer and it looks as though the moon is the same point light source as the sun. It's the same size relatively as the sun. That's why when there's an eclipse, it covers up the sun. They're the same size. So it's not as intense, but it's the same size. So it has a lot of the same qualities. You get the same kind of shadows. You get the same kind of look. So when you do the picture out in the landscape, if you expose for a long time with the moon, it can look as though the sun lit the picture. So it looks like a day-lit picture, but there's stars in the sky. So the sky looks night and the earth looks day. And anything you put within the scene looks like it's shot in the day. Of course, it has to be still for 30 seconds. So in the pictures where I'm in the picture, there's one where I'm a ghost, and it's because I actually let the picture sit and expose for 10 seconds, sat down, was in the picture for another 5-6 seconds, and then got out and let it expose again. So there's exposure of what was there, and then there's exposure of me, and then I leave and it's still exposed for what's there and me, so I look like a ghost. And then there's other pictures where I'm in the picture and I didn't do that. I actually set the timer, so the timer waits 10 seconds and then the thing goes off, and then I'm standing there and I have to stand still for 30 seconds in the middle of the street butt naked. So I didn't have to, but you can do whatever you want as a photographer. Moonlit, landscape photography can become moonlit nudes in the wild photography. So I found a hippie that was able to stand in the street for me. I caught wild hippie crossings, and I just kept seeing this wild hippie out every time I went shooting. So I just took pictures of him. I did the pictures on 2 separate days. I tried different things. So my mistakes. I live, you learn. One of the mistakes I made was in trying to get the aperture to have more depth of field, more planes in focus. In trying to do that, I bumped up my ISO so I could shut down the aperture a little bit and keep the same the same exposure. But the noise level on my camera at the time, it's an old picture, it was an old camera. I still use the camera, I still love the camera, I'm not trying to talk shit, but the noise level in long exposures tends to come out more. So the noise level was unacceptable, and I regretted it later that I set that ISO. But like I said, I live, you learn. So when you do it, try and keep your ISO low, and then shoot in that way. Or if you have a newer camera, you have more of a leverage, and it's up to you to decide what's acceptable noise, and to use your camera to experiment with it and find out where that acceptable level of noise is for you personally, and find out when it's unacceptable to you, and so not to continue using that that ISO or whatever. One of the great things about doing these pictures is that there's minimal equipment required. So you don't have to go out and buy studio lights. You don't have to get all this crazy rigging, all this stuff. All you need is a camera and a tripod, okay, and some time and the will and it's fun. It's exciting to do. It's exhilarating to get out in the wild and do pictures that are just landscape, that you escape from society and from reality to get out there and then do pictures that are surreal. And all you need is your tripod, your camera, and like I said, the will and the knowledge. There are other things that could make it easier, such as accessories that where you can press the little bulb. They're the little remotes for the camera, so you can do these remote off-camera shooting and things like that, and you can do program stuff. But I didn't have that, so I didn't have that. I didn't use that, and you don't have to have that to go do these. And in none of these pictures did I use any of that. If I did have that, I would have used it. I'm not against it. I just don't have it. So as far as that goes, it's very the ability to get in and do this kind of pictures. They're open to everybody. And like I said, I just came up with this. And I conceptualized it, and I went out and tested it, and sure enough, it worked. It was a theory, and if I found out that it's a working theory. So it works. You can get great pictures with very little equipment, and anybody can do it, including you. So if you want to go out with me on a photo adventure, I'm going out tonight on a photo adventure. If you happen to miss today's, just give me a call or email me, and we can set something up. Of course, I charge a little bit of dinero, just like everybody else. It's a workshop, it's a class. It could do it on a personal level. If you have a group, I'm down to teach groups as well. I'm down with the group thing. And then we can get out there and do a moonlit photography adventure in the wild. I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Shabazz in Dubai. I hope everything's going good for you. I haven't heard from you in a while. Hope life's treating you good. I wanted to say hello to Saiza in the Philippines because she's super cute. Hi Francelle in Boston. And Tamara, I just wanted to say I hope you use these techniques because I think that you could get beautiful bomb-ass pictures. You go to the most beautiful places, and I would love to see some of your work. So Tamara Hasty, if you learn this stuff, I would love to see what you do with it. Okay? So that's it. I love y'all. Hope you learned something. Peace. All right, baby. Check, baby. Check, baby. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro.